Hey out there, guys. This is Leroy Hawkson of Esports African News here again as we go into our journey of African indie game development. Today, I am joined by an incredible young man. He is the owner of Masaka Game Studios. He has created a number of games, one of which is the Kisoro tribal game, which is on Google Play Store. And he's coming to talk to us about his life, how he got into the game development space, and also to talk to us about the African indie game development environment and what he makes of it and how he thinks things will move into the future. So let me introduce you to our guest today, Teddy Kosoko. Teddy, welcome to the show.
Hello all. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm really glad to have you on this show. I want to really learn more about the African indie game development environment. I want to know more about it and how the world sees it as well. But before we get into any of that, I want to talk to you about yourself and how you got into this space.
My journey in video game industry is kind of I wasn't at the beginning made for this space because I was born in Central African Republic, and it's a country in which computer science is not very well developed. And at the beginning, I was prepared to go in the medicine field. And after my diploma, I decided to go in computer science. So I succeeded to convince my parents to let me do computer science and management. And I left my country, Central African Republic, in 2012 in order to continue my university studies. And once in Europe, in France, I noticed that a lot of people misunderstand Africa. White people, European people, and even Black people in Europe and in Africa, they don't really know what Africa is and the story and the stories of different countries we have on the continent. So I just asked myself how I could, share African cultures, how I can impact the world using African cultures. And I noticed that a lot of people in Europe used to play games, and even if in Africa, we love playing games. We all, I remember when I was young, to go with some friends and to play for hours. And I thought to myself that, yes, for me, this is the way I can use to impact the African people and tell African stories around the world.
So basically the goal when you started this was to tell the story of Africa and of the African culture.
Yes. Totally. My objective is still this. I want to spread African cultures all around the world, because if you see, countries like South Korea, North European countries with Vikings stories, etc., they use their stories to impact the world. We all know mangas and stuff like this, and we grew up with these kind of stories. So yes, my objective is clear. I want to let everybody all around the world to know African cultures.
So why start with the Kisoro tribal game? Why did you decide that should be the first thing you tackle? I believe it's a traditional game in the Central African Republic. So yes. Why start with that?
For many reasons. The first is I didn't have at that time a good idea about which kind of game is to start with. It was complex. I brainstormed with some friends in order to have a good idea, but it was complex, and I decided to look at in my culture and to see which kind of a game I can use. And Kisoro is a game with a long story, because first, it's a game we can find in a lot of African countries, in different way of playing this with different board but
Yeah,
different,
we call it Owari where I'm from.
Yes. So I thought to myself that this kind of game can talk to a lot of people in different countries first, because we have a link between all of us. And the second reason is this game is extremely good for mathematics, for memorization. So people can use it, in school for children. It's also very good game when you want to work on your concentration, because you're going to stay to think, to calculate, etc., etc. Because also I want to show to the world that we also have, it's kind of chess. It's how a chess game, Kisara travel game, and yes, it's one of the historical game we have in Africa. So to start, my journey in this field, yes, for me it was something.
So how difficult was it for you to start something like this? I believe it's your first game ever. I don't think you had a team ready or anything like that. So how difficult was it for you to kick this off?
It took me 4 years, and I was a student at university. So after school, I used to work on this project and late. So I spent all money I had at the time on this game to pay for characters, for design and stuff like this. And it was complex because I didn't really know how to build a game. And yes, how to say, to explain concretely the difficulty. But I succeeded, progressively to build a kind of community around the game, because I used to talk about my work on Facebook. I created a page Facebook and invited all of my friends, families, etc., etc. And because it took 4 years, they noticed that each month I succeeded to add something in the game. They noticed that there is a kind of evolution in the game, and at the end they say, hey, there is something happening with this boy. And in 2018, I started crowdfunding. I told to them that, okay, today we are 2,000 people on my page, and I succeeded to build 80% of the game. I want a little bit money to finish the game, so I asked for 5,000 euros. And they say, okay, a lot of people said, okay, we're going to help you. So I succeeded to have a lot of help from people from Africa, from white people, European people, a lot of people like this. And yes, this gave me, kind of good support in order to continue my journey in the video game industry.
And you said 2018, you were also named Forbes 30 under 30 in 2018. How did that happen, and how excited were you to be on that list?
It was something amazing, extremely amazing, because I'm just a young African black man trying to do something. And when they contacted me and told me that we are looking for people like you working hard for Africa, telling new stories for Africa, and are you interested to be featured in? I told to them that, of course, I'm interested. Yes, I'm not. I consider myself like anybody in the world, and the fact to be contacted by Forbes is something for me amazing. And yes, so it gave me a kind of recognition. I thought to myself that, okay, there are people here and there that looking at my work, and they are also going to I think this year they're also going to do a kind of new Forbes 20 under 30, and once again I'm going to be featured in this time, and I have to be the first of the rank this time, but we will see, and I'm very happy. It is not it is not my, you know, my objective to be featured in this kind of papers, but you know, we are all human, and when some magazines like Forbes, you know, talk about you, you give you a kind of how to say it in English?
Push.
Yes, totally, yes.
So when you got this recognition, and how did it help push your game towards getting more? Did it help you in basically getting more sponsorship, more
Yes.
eyes on the game? Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of newspapers, etc., told about the game. People start to, you know, to consider me, etc., etc. Because even if I did a lot of work before, and I continue to do a lot of work, the fact for a newspaper to talk about you, give you a kind of, you know, how to say it, recognition. People start to say, okay, this person is serious. We can trust him, etc., because media is talking about him, etc., etc. And also on the African side, because we have a problem in Africa. When you start to work on something, people is, no, you know, he's doing his stuff. But when media start to talk about you, at the time they start to, you know, to contact you, to consider you, etc. So yes, I got a lot of consideration thanks to this, and my work, my game started to also to have a lot of download and stuff like this, thanks to Forbes push and others media push too.
And when you made this game, was it always in the back of your mind that you're going to start a game studio after
No.
Kisuru?
No. So, because it was complex when I started, and it is still complicated, but it was extremely complex. I didn't really have in mind the fact to create a video game company. For me, it's, you know, we have to tell a story about Africa, and we will see. And at the end, when I noticed that, oh, a lot of people enjoy playing African games, a lot of people in Africa was, you know, amazed by the work we did, and the consideration we got. I thought to myself that there is something to do, you know, on this field. There is something, you know, there is a place here we can take. So I thought to myself that, okay, maybe it's your time, boy, go and take this place. And I created officially the first video game company, you know, based in Europe, and creating contents only on African stories, facts, etc. Focus on Africa to build a new bridge between Africa and the rest of the world. Oh yes, I'm very happy at that time.
Could you tell us what the Masaka and Masaka Studio means? How you came up with that name?
Yes, my Masaka Game Studio means I don't know how to pronounce it correctly in English, but it's youth. The youth, the young people. Masaka in my native town means young people. And if you look at correctly, our logo is an old man. So the name is young people, and the logo is old man. Now, what I want to share to the world is that Masaka, my company, is here to build a bridge between first the past and the future, and also to build bridges between Africa and the rest of the world. And
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's come to the African game environment and this community. What have you made of this community? Do you think it's moving in the right direction, or do you think that something needs to be done?
If I understand well the question about the community, when I started, I noticed that there are a lot of work to do, and we need to build a community. We need to build all around, what because we are not here to build games for just building games. It's not our objective. There are a lot of companies in the world, that make games and very good games than us. Our objective is not just like, creating games, etc., etc. We want to impact people. We are, for me, I'm on a mission on this earth for Africa and for Black people, and that's why building a community and trying to have impact in many countries in Africa and having all of these people supporting us is extremely important for us. So yes, so that's why we started progressively to build this community.
So does that mean that? So have you spoken to any other developers? Have you gotten to know them and to share ideas? How does it work? How have you been trying to build this community?
At the beginning, it wasn't the case, because I was starting in the field, and rapidly I start to go on some Facebook groups and discuss with some developers to understand how they work. And after I discovered Olivier Madiba from Kiro Games in Cameroon, I sent some emails in order to have some information about the video game industry, etc., how to succeed, how to deploy, etc. And I'm a kind of person that used to be frank, to go and to ask if I need help, if I need advices, etc. Because if you want to succeed, we have to ask and to ask for advices from people that started before us in order to have the knowledges, etc. And progressively I started to got a lot of knowledge about the field, about the video game industry. I started also to go in some forums, convention, to some some talk in order to meet developers, etc., etc. And yes, I succeeded to enter in this community and to have a lot of experience and information about how to do things.
That is actually quite good. I spoke to a developer a couple of days ago, and he was like, one thing he thinks is a problem when it comes to the African indie development space is that they lack marketing. They just create games, but they don't know how to market. Are you of the same opinion of that?
Yes, totally right. Marketing is normally marketing for me represent 60% of the work. You have, even if you build an amazing game, but if you don't market it correctly, people are not going to discover and know that you are building something amazing. So for me, most of the time, I start marketing before building the game. There is a sentence, an American sentence I really love: "Fake it until you make it." And this is one of my credo. I fake a lot of things. I talk all the time about it until I make it. And we have some lack of marketing most of the time in Africa. People are focused on just developing the stuff, and at the end, they think that a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, I love your game, I have to play it." No, because there are tons of games on the market, and yes, people are not waiting for your game.
Yeah.
So we have to, my African developers, and even in Europe, the problem is the same. Game developers have to think marketing. When you during the process of the development, you have to think about the marketing, how to generate money, how to communicate about your game, how to build a community all around your game. And yes, thanks to this, when your game is going to be ready, you will have approximately, if you are 1,000 person, waiting for your games, it's something good.
Another thing I seem to notice when it comes to the African game development side is it seems we do a lot more casual games than competitive
Yes.
games. Do you think that it's more difficult to do competitive games, or do you think that's the reason that it's more difficult to do competitive games than it is to do make a casual game?
I think the first thing is they know that it's more complicated and it needs a lot of techniques, etc., to make competitive games. It needs more money, more time, more team, etc., etc. A casual game, a team of one person can build this game rapidly and push it on the market. Most of the time, competitive game needs more people, network, etc., etc. And that's why in Africa we use most of the time to build a casual game. And I think that maybe for us to start, if casual game can help us to generate money, then after to move forward to competitive game, let's build casual games, generate money with this, and after, if you have enough money, build games, competitive games, in order to have people all around Africa playing this game, or even people in Europe playing games, competitive games made in Africa.
Right now, it seems like the world of the gaming world is more interested in indie games than AAA games, because people seem to think that the AAA games just come out uncompleted, and so they are more inclined to go towards the indie game side. Do you think that's a huge opportunity for the African development?
Yeah. Totally, it's an opportunity, because people are waiting, people are looking for experience. People want new experience, because AAA games are most of the time used to have a kind of process and do the same thing, because they know that it's going to generate money, so they don't want to take risk, etc., and change the way or scenarios and stuff like this. So for indie game developer, it's especially people based in Africa, it's an opportunity, because we have a lot of stories to tell. We have experiences and a lot of things to put and push to the world, in order to tell to people that, okay, if you are bored by AAA games, let us give you new experience. You are going to feel something new in your body. And this is also, I think, why the game Orient from Kiro in Cameroon succeeded, because it was the first RPG game, African RPG game on the market, and Western people enjoyed discovering this new experience. And yes, we have to. It's a chance for us to have the field for the moment blank, totally blank.
So after all of this, what do you think needs to be improved when it comes to the African game development industry?
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of problems in the African gaming industry. But the first thing is, for me, I think African game developers must first focus on Africa first, because we use most of the time to say, okay, we have to push our games outside the continent in order to make money, etc., etc. But when you try to push your game outside the continent, to sell it in Europe, in United States, most of the time, games we created in Africa, people created in Africa, don't have a good look and feel, don't have a good quality, and you are going to face a lot of competition, because in Europe and in US and even in Asia, they have a lot of good games on different platforms. So when you have a consumer base, for example, in France, in front of two games, one in Africa with a very bad look and feel, and one made in France with an extremely cool look and feel, and also very well marketized, this person is going to take the French game. So first we have to focus on Africa to succeed to generate money in Africa with our casual games. If a person based in Ghana can succeed to generate money in Cote d'Ivoire, in Cameroon, in Senegal, etc., in the first time, then thanks to this money, he's going to have a good team to train. Then after this, to polish the game and push it in the European market. So it's good. We have to be first patient to generate money in Africa. Then after to build extremely good games with high quality, before trying to push it in Western market. And also, what I can say is African game developers should work together, because there are many silos here and there. People just want to work until on the outside. This is my game, etc., etc. It's secret. No. People don't care about your game. You have to work together in order to build something good with a good quality and very well polished before pushing it in the market. When different studios, based even if it is in the same country, work together, they are going to have a high power for the marketing, in order to attract people and generate money.
Yeah. Another thing I think is more risks should be taken when they are making their games as well. I feel like we make too many simple games that even though I enjoy sometimes, I feel like more can be done and more can be because I feel like there are lots of talented people on the continent, and I feel like if they take a lot more risks, maybe to pay off. I know that I'm not the one taking the risk, but I feel like if they did, it could really, really pay off. So let me ask this as well. Let's say I want to get into game development. What would be your advice to someone like me? No experience coding, no experience with art, but I want to enter into the game development market. How would you advise me?
I will tell you first that you have to be patient. It's going to be a long journey. And you have to be patient first, and you have to learn in order to start, make small game, kind of maybe a shooter. You will find some you will find a lot of how to say it, tutorials on YouTube, etc., in order to build your first game. So be patient, make small game, and train yourself thanks to tutorials on YouTube. You will succeed.
All right, this has been an incredible conversation, Teddy. I'd really love to talk to you more about the industry and all that. I would like to actually get together a bunch of game developers and just sit down and talk about the African game development industry, how to develop it, how to get it into a place where we can develop the first ever African AAA game studio. That will be an interesting conversation to have, because we have companies like CD Projekt Red, which was basically an indie developer that turned into a AAA developer. Then all of a sudden, everybody now doesn't like them. But well, honestly speaking, I would really love to talk more about this and get to know more about the African space as well. But anyways, final words before I let you go, Teddy.
If I can say something, my word will be, we have everything in Africa. We have good stories to tell.
Yeah.
There is a place for us, and we have to be patient. We have to work very hard, and we have to work together. It's important to work together in order to build this ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we have to focus on Africa, generate money first in Africa before trying to go and sell everywhere all over the world. And this money should stay in Africa in order to generate and more money, and also contribute to develop the ecosystem. And we will succeed. We will succeed.
All right, so guys, that is how we wrap up our interview today with Teddy Kosoko of Masaka Game Studio. It's been a pleasure having him on board. I hope to talk to him more and maybe set up a discussion with other game developers later on, and just talk about game development industry on the continent, and how to get to a point where the whole world will be talking about all our games and our stories. But for now, this is how we wrap up this edition of the show. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I have Leroy Hawkson of Esports Africa News. Thank you for joining us.